The elaborate and convincing aging of Abraham won Smith the 1984 Academy Award for Best Makeup.
When I do a makeup like, say, Amadeus, I'm taking techniques that I developed maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago that have all kind of snowballed into a much more refined approach to these technical and artistic problems.
Considered to be the grand master of old age makeup, Dick Smith has also received an Academy Award nomination for the 1989 film Dad, and an Emmy Award for the 1967 television production of Mark Twain Tonight. For much of his old age work, Smith has used foam latex, which came into popular use in the movie business in the late 40s. At that time, single-piece foam latex masks or appliances were utilized in aging actors. The single-piece appliance proved too restrictive for Smith, however, when faced with the ambitious task of transforming 31-year-old Dustin Hoffman into the 121-year-old Little Big Man. It was during the making of this film in 1970 that Dick Smith developed the overlapping appliance technique, which has since become the industry standard.
Because foam shrinks, it would be hard to get on. It would make the actor feel constricted because it would have to be stretched. You can do a much better job if you put on a forehead, and then some eye bags, and then some cheeks, and a nose, and a chin, and so forth and so forth.
In 1973, Dick Smith used foam latex appliances for Max von Sydow's character Father Merrin in The Exorcist. Director William Friedkin was determined to shoot von Sydow in close-ups without diffused lighting, as had been used on previous aging makeups, including Little Big Man. So Smith was faced with the challenge of realistically aging von Sydow, who was in his early 40s, into the 80-year-old priest.
I developed a whole coloration process that was new at the time. Instead of using one color of flesh tone over the rubber makeup, I divided it into different areas and used a different tone in each place, which was more like the real thing.
In 1983, Smith developed further aging techniques during the making of The Hunger, in which he aged David Bowie from 30 to a 150-year-old vampire in 6 progressive stages. A last-minute decision by the director to add a stubble beard over Bowie's aging makeup presented a special problem, because hair could not be glued properly over the greasy makeup then used on latex appliances. Smith combined a new adhesive called Prosaid with acrylic paints to create a non-greasy, flexible, smear-proof appliance paint, which he called Pax. Not only can hair be glued over it, but its many superior qualities have made it the most widely used material for coloring appliance makeups and animatronic puppets.
Action!
In 1989, Smith was called on to design the old age makeup for Jack Lemmon in the dramatic film Dad.
Jack has an ideal face. All his features were easy to age. I determined that if I made him bald or semi-bald, that would work out well. And I decided that he would look good in a mustache. That would help the aging and also change him from the usual Jack Lemmon image, which is one of the things that I sought to do.
The application process, which took between 2 and 3 hours a day, was done by makeup artists Ken Diaz and Greg Nelson. They, together with Smith, received an Academy Award nomination for their subtle and believable aging effects.
I've always considered aging really the ultimate challenge in makeup, to try to make it look totally believable and not like makeup. I mean, that's the ultimate. So I'm a person who's a perfectionist, and I've always tried to find better ways to do this. I benefit from it, and everyone else benefits from it. It's a legacy that I pass on to the industry. The younger generation is reaching and passing me by and will carry the torch on further, as it should be.
Several of Dick's protégés have gone on to win Academy Awards of their own, including Greg Canham for Mrs. Doubtfire, Kevin Haney for Driving Miss Daisy, and Rick Baker for Ed Wood.
He, more than anybody, is responsible for
the state of the art of makeup effects today, and a lot of that was because he shared the information. You know, he came up with a lot of unique ways of doing things, and he would share it with anybody who wanted to know.
Dick Smith continues his work today, researching and developing translucent materials and gel-filled appliances.
Silicone gel-filled appliances are the thing of the future, I believe. I've been talking this up and kind of promoting it for the last 2 or 3 years. I'm working on some now, and it's very exciting.
The materials and techniques of aging effects may change with the times, but the artistry, generosity, and enthusiasm passed down by Dick Smith is truly ageless.
Mediocrity is everywhere.
When we return, we'll look into the future of makeup effects by stepping back into the Truman era. Aging techniques through trial and error. During this period, one of the materials he used was a liquid latex compound called stipple. When applied to the face, it constricts the skin, enhancing any wrinkles the actor already has. In 1962, Schiffer was faced with what he considers his greatest artistic challenge, taking Burt Lancaster, who was then 49 years old, from 20 to 70 in the classic prison drama Birdman of Alcatraz.
It was done mostly with highlights and shadows and you know, some little small stipple rubber work, and in fact, I put a whole aging beard on him with rubber and hair, which had never been done before. Just stippled the rubber on and then set the hair in the rubber. Then, of course, I got the rimless glasses, which helped the age.